Thomas Merton, an American monk from the middle of the last century, made famous by the publication of his conversion story, his journey from a bohemian playboy lifestyle to Catholic priest, once penned this prayer: "My Lord God, I have no idea where I am going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end, nor do I really know myself. And the fact that I think I am following your will does not mean that I am actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does in fact please you. And I hope I have that desire in all that I am doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Therefore will I trust you always, though I may seem to be lost and in the shadow of death. I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone." I like this prayer because of the honesty and the humility. I like this prayer for the uncertainty about the road ahead and the wondering whether he is on the right path, an uncertainty and a wandering that is present in every human heart that stands on the threshold of a transition, that has or is about to take a turn in that journey of life. I like this prayer because it offers relief from knowing that our sincere desire to please God does in fact please him. For a God that cannot clearly be seen, that is not always heard and understood, a God that cannot fully be known, does not sit poised, ready to smite those to the ground who make a wrong turn, but is ever present to offer assistance as we grope in the darkness, trying to find our way. Our scriptures today offer two such examples of that kind of journey. Abraham, at 75 years old, is invited to set out from the country of his kinsmen, to set out from his father's home into a foreign land. He is being asked to leave everything that he knows, to leave his past behind, to leave what he knows of himself, or at least what he thought he knew of himself and of his future, for an unknown destiny. Christ, too, is starting a journey from the Mount of Transfiguration to the Mount of Disfiguration, to the Mount of Calvary. He too is being invited down from that mountain, down from the place where he is tempted perhaps to build these tents and to remain in the peaceful presence of the Father in order to go forth and to drink from the bitter chalice from which he'd rather not drink. What is it that allows Abraham to traverse the desert? What is it that allows Christ to set his face like flint towards Jerusalem? What is it that allows them, as well as so many others, to undertake difficult yet necessary journeys? The answer comes in our psalm. It is the mercy of God. Mercy, or in Hebrew, hesed, is a covenant fidelity. It is the faithfulness that God shows when he made those promises to our forefathers in the faith and to their ancestors, namely the promises that he made to us. He didn't have to make those promises. He's God and we're not. He is king and creator and we are merely creatures. He didn't have to make those promises, but he freely, willingly, lovingly chose to do so. And because he had nothing higher on which to swear, he swears on himself. He lays his own name, his own honor down as collateral, as guarantee that he will be faithful. And if he was faithful in the past, he will be faithful still. And if he is just and kind and upright in the past, then he'll be just, kind, and upright still. It is that mercy, it is that faithfulness that allows us to put our trust in him, to place our lives in his hands, knowing that in each step of the way, of our own difficult but necessary journey, of our own path of uncertainty and wondering, that he will be there each and every step to offer assistance as we need it. Today is Safe Haven Sunday. It is a time determined by the bishop to raise awareness once again of the pandemic of pornography. It is a time not to induce or increase the guilt and the shame of those who have fallen into the habit or of addiction any more than it already is. They do that enough on their own, unfortunately. They do not need help from others. Rather, it is a time to offer a message to all of you who are mothers and fathers, you who are grandmothers and grandfathers, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, or even friends. In other words, it is a message to everybody. In my experience, this is one of the single most confessed grave sins, especially, but not exclusively among men. Men of all ages. I've heard it from those in single digits as well as those who are almost in their triple digits. But it is also becoming more popular among young ladies. Therefore, everyone who knows anyone knows somebody who has, who is, or who will be affected by this. It is no longer a question of if, but a question of when and how. It is not a question of them going in search of it, for it is relentlessly and unabashedly coming in search of them. A man once told me that he was able to kick addictions to smoking, addictions to alcohol, even addictions to cocaine. But this was the hardest of them all. Waiting till it is too late is no longer an option. For too long, like Pontius Pilate, we have washed our hands, thinking, I don't have a problem with it, therefore it is not my problem. Or foolishly thinking that it is not a problem at all, while our loved ones go on to be scourged and crucified. A safe haven is a place where we can set them on a different journey instead. A journey of healing, a journey of freedom, a journey where they can be restored to a life that is whole and holy, that life for which Christ has saved them. A few weeks ago, I was talking with a young lady, and she was sharing with me her story, her journey. And it began with a childhood sexual trauma. And it continued as she grew up to be manifested in a life of increasing promiscuity. And you could see that she was just bent beneath the burden of this weight, and that she wanted to make a turn, a change in her life. At some point I asked her, are you happy with what you see in the mirror? Sometimes, she answered. What do you see the other times? She said, I see something that is dirty and damaged. I see something that is bruised and broken. I see somebody who uses and something to be used. She saw her sins. She saw everything that she had done and everything that had been done to her. And that became her identity. A safe haven is a place established by friends and family for those who are hidden or imprisoned in sin and shame, that they can ask for help and trusting in the faithfulness and the mercy of others to receive not condemnation, but compassion in return. A safe haven is for those who have self-identified as something that is unlovable, whose life is wasted, that they can hear the voice of heaven echo through the voices on earth. You are my beloved son. You are my beloved daughter. That their identity is not what the world says about them, not what their past says about them, not even what they say about themselves. But they are who God says that they are. A safe haven is a place for those who are distant and dead in their sins, or at least feel themselves to be, can feel the tender touch of Christ and hear his voice say, rise up and do not be afraid any longer. A safe haven is a place where that outer layer, yes, that may be disfigured, but if so, only skin deep, can be pulled back in order to see the glow of the glory and the goodness that still and always dwells within.